You just bought this incredible property. High five, cheers all around, good for you. But what are you going to do with it now? Are you going to make a quick buck and flip that bad boy? Or are you going to buck that quick return and rent that for the long term? That's right. Today I'm going to talk about flipping versus renting, and here is my ultimate guide to making sure that you're making a profit on every investment. What's up everybody? Josh Isbell here, and welcome back to another great video. Today, as I already told you, we're talking about flipping versus renting. And I'm gonna show you how to ensure that you're going to make money on every house, but don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you know when these videos are coming in. Thanks. Now, flipping a house. It can be fun, flashy, and honestly, make you YouTube famous. But in real life, it's not always the most practical and efficient way to jump into real estate. Now, renting, on the other hand, it also has its pros and its cons. It's not flashy, it doesn't have much to it. You know, you tell your friend, yeah, I got a couple rentals, they're like, oh, good job. But in truth, it really just depends on, between flipping and renting, what type of lifestyle you're trying to live, what type of lifestyle you want to live versus where you're at now. So to understand that, you have to understand basically the difference between passive and active income. So we're gonna jump into that first. So your active income, super simple. When you go to work, you make money. When you go home, you stop making money. So basically when you stop working, you stop making income. Whereas passive income, it's plain and simple. It doesn't matter what you're doing, you have income coming in. So remember, you went home, you're still making money. It's pretty much what dreams are made of. You're sitting on a beach, drinking a couple beers with friends, you're still making money. So what type of money do you want? Do you want active or passive? That is the true test when it comes to flipping versus renting. So what are we talking about again? Oh yeah, passive income. Rental properties are an excellent source of passive income. But just like flipping, you have to understand whether the particular property you're looking at is going to be a holder or one that you're going to flip. With that being said, I actually have a property that I just bought, and I'm going to use it as an example to show you how I run all my numbers to see if it's going to be a keeper or if we're going to go ahead and flip it and make that quick cash. So this is a house that I just bought. Now, we're going to actually look at some numbers, but to simplify it, I'm going to say we just paid a flat $100,000 for this house. I put $20,000 down and I'm financing $80,000 through the bank. Now, we need to look at the potential cash flow on the property. Yes, cash may be king, but you need to understand cash flow is what runs the household. For me, on a flip, I average about $30,000. And then with taxes and all, you have to take out a nice round number, about 25%, which takes $7,500 out of your potential profit. But it leaves us with a profit margin of roughly $22,500. Now, let's actually take that $22,500 that we made off of flipping it, and I want to compare that to the projected annual return if I just rent the property. That's about $3,000. And you're probably like, where'd you get the $3,000 from? So how I've got the $3,000 is pretty simple. I'm going to take my monthly rent of $1,200 and I'm going to deduct all the costs, including my mortgage, insurance, taxes, repairs, even property management. Basically everything, I'm going to deduct it from that. And that is where I'm going to come up with my cash flow. What I do from there is I multiply my cash flow, which ended up being about $250 a month, by 12. So that $250 times the 12 equals the $3,000, and that's what my potential profit is after everything's said and done for the year. Okay, so actually let me take a quick second and just say this. If you're confused, I highly suggest you go ahead and watch this video, because remember earlier I said cash flow runs, the household. You need to understand before you get going what the cash flow is, how to get there, as well as what your cash on cash return is. So check this video out, come back to where we are here, and then the rest of this you'll be like, oh my God, that's so easy. So get started right there. Now let's actually keep moving with the advantages of renting the property. Obviously you have your passive income, but you also have to think as you pay that mortgage down, you're going to get the equity off that, okay? Also, you have tax advantages that you can take or claim as you own that property. Whereas if you just sold it, flipped it, $30,000, you're going to take that hit right away. Like I said, about 25%. That's what I account for. So the longer you hold a property, the more tax advantages you have. But here's a big thing. The property should start appreciating. What does that mean? You should see the market value go up as you own that house longer. So yes, you can take advantage of the pay down, the taxes, and the appreciation of the property. Now that's not guaranteed with the appreciation because markets do fluctuate. It is a little bit of a risk, but if you are able to take advantage of it, it's a higher return than that immediate flip. Now here's the thing. All those incentives such as your taxes, your appreciation, and your pay down only take you so far. Yes, renting looks a lot better now because you have that passive income, but you have to make sure that it's actually worth it. Is your cash flow going to add up? Plus you have to make sure that your cash on cash investment actually makes sense. If I'm investing $20,000 and getting $3,000 back a year, that works. But if I'm investing $1 million and only getting $5,000 back a year, that does not work in any world. So this is where I'm actually going to show you what you need to be looking for. But first, again, if you're confused, that video that shows the breakdown of the cash on cash as well as the cash flow, go ahead and watch it. Click the link, but let's keep going where we're at now. All right, so let me actually give you a quick rundown on that. Your cash on cash return is your actual cash flow divided by your initial investment. Everything that you've invested cash-wise into the property doesn't have anything to do with your mortgage itself. So for us on this particular property, I can tell you this. I'm making $3,000 a year annually after everything cash flow, and I'm dividing that by my total cash investment. For this property, it's $20,000 in upfront down payment, $1,000 in closing costs, and then there was about another $5,000 in repairs and other fees. So that's $26,000 that I'm actually dividing everything by. That $3,000 divided by $26,000 gives us a 0.11538 cash on cash return. It's right at that. And I'll tell you what, that is actually really good. I always turn it into a percentage, which is 11.5%. For 11.5%, I will tell you this, I'm not going to get down on one knee and say, hey, will you stay with me forever? But I'm definitely calling somebody back and I'm making sure that we're going out for drinks because this is a good deal and I'm going to make sure it happens. Now, like I said, I'm not going to get on one knee for 11.5% because personally, before I say I do and I'm jumping into bed with something, I want a bigger cash on cash return. My goal is always around 15% for the long term. Okay. Now, anything over 10 is a good number. You'll hear me say this here. You'll hear me say it in other videos. Anything over 10 is a good number, but I'm going to mostly keep those for just a couple years before I'm going to try to offload them. Why? Because I want high yield, high cash flow, and high cash on cash return properties. I'm also actually checking out the neighborhoods. A lot of people overlook this, and this is where they really screw up. What is going on with your neighborhood? Are people moving in? Are people moving out? Does it have a school that everybody wants to go to? Does it have shopping centers coming in? How is your property going to actually appreciate? How can you take advantage of this? If you don't look at factors outside of the present, you will lose in the future. So what I'm always doing is I'm making sure that when I jump into this, how is my cash on cash now? And where's the projection for my cash flow and cash on cash later on? You have to understand that if you buy in an area that is starting to decrease in value, what's going to happen to your rent? You have to look at what's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years, if you're going to basically be in bed with this property for a long time. How can I start to bump up my rent so I can make more money? These are all things and all factors that also have to do with just your investment. You're probably thinking, oh, he really wants us to rent these properties, but that's not actually true. So I'm going to give you basically my rule of thumb on everything. $30,000 is my average on a flip. If I'm making less than that, but I have a high cash return and a high cash flow, I'm gonna go ahead and keep that property. If I'm making double that, like let's say I'm making $50,000, $60,000 to go ahead and flip it, doesn't matter if I'm making 15% cash on cash return, I'm selling it because I'm gonna take that money after taxes and I'm gonna try to buy me 2 houses. One, hopefully I can rent, and the other I can flip to continue the process. Now, what do I do if I'm making right at $30,000, which is the average? I'm gonna look at where that neighborhood is going. Is it going to appreciate over the years because lots of people are coming in like we talked about earlier? Or is it gonna stay the same or even start to go down? If I see a potential downturn, I'm gonna go ahead and offload that property, make my money, pay my taxes, and move on to the next property. So this honestly just comes down to one simple question. Do you wanna flip or do you wanna rent houses? Actually, comment below. Tell me which you like to do more. Me personally, I'm a fan of both because I wanna be able to flip a house, get enough to buy another house, and then continue that process down the road. I also want to make sure that I have that passive income, that I'm continuously making sure that each month I get a check. So, which would you prefer? Comment down below. Also, guys, I appreciate it. Make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell too, because we got more stuff coming out every single week, including more flips. Josh Isbell here. Thanks so much. Comment below. Flipping versus renting. See y'all later.